Oh, you already smell the food in my pocket, huh? Come on. What are you doing? Hey, little puppy. We just finished up our first training session with Teddy. So now I've got Tucker down here with me. This is his first training session for his Premier Puppy program. So they'll be meeting with me 2 days a week. They'll be meeting with Jay 2 days a week. And we're going to be teaching them all of their foundation training skills before they go home to their forever families. So this is Tucker's first time down in the training space, to give him just a minute or two to kind of acclimate, make sure that they're okay walking on the slippery laminate floors, although they do have laminate floors upstairs too, but it is a little bit different down here. We've got a little carpet down too if they need it, and also being down here too, they can hear the creaks from the floors upstairs, so sometimes that can be a little distracting too. So you could see Tucker is just kind of checking things out. He's going to learn that he has lots of fun when he's down here. Already found some of the toys, and he just heard some of the creaking from the floors upstairs. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. And he's being a little silly about it, but he is walking from the carpet off onto the floors. I think he wants to check out my coffee right now, so he's trying to climb over my leg to investigate my coffee cup. So that's good that he wants to do that. He can't have any of my coffee though. Where are you going? Now he's checking out the chair that's over there. Yeah, you see you wagging your tail, huh? I see you. I think Tucker already smells the food that's in my pocket, and he just weaseled his way all the way over me to get into my food pocket, which is sort of impressive. He's wagging his tail this whole time. So I think he's going to do just fine down here. So just like Teddy, what we're going to start off with Tucker today is just teaching him initially what the clicker means. And whenever the dog hears the click of the clicker, they're going to get a food reward. Yeah, you like that chicken? Your brother liked that one too. So this is the clicker that we're going to be using. It's a box style clicker for these puppies. It is a little bit louder than a button style clicker, so when I click it for the first time, I'm going to make sure that I do it behind my back so I'm not accidentally clicking at the puppy, because if you do it right in front of their face, that might be a little scary, especially if you do it that way the first time. First, I'm just going to make sure that Tucker wants to eat while he's down here, which, look at that, he totally does, because he already smelled the food in my pocket. To make sure we give you small pieces, huh? Not sure how much smaller I can make them. Alright, so since I know he wants to take food, then I'm going to start with the clicker. So I don't want him to be right on top of me when I click it the first time. I'm just going to click, and then I'm going to feed a piece of food. So we're going to do this right now for like 5 to 10 times in a row, because I really want the dog to understand that this means that food is coming. He's in my pocket. Here you go. You can get it from my hand. You don't get it from my pocket. Good boy. Here, come over here. So the treats that I'm using with these puppies is actually part of their daily meals, which I am a huge fan of. If you are training your puppy, instead of using training treats, and instead of just putting a meal into a dish and setting that down onto the ground, try to do at least one of those meals. So a lot of times with our little baby puppies, when we first bring them home, when they're 8, 9, 10 weeks old, we're feeding them at least 3 times a day. try to take one of those meals and hand feed it to your puppy as a training session. So just like what I'm doing with Tucker right now. There you go. Hand feeding is such a great way to bond with your puppy. And what better way to hand feed than to actually do some training. So just like with Teddy, I also want to teach Tucker that he can get food from my hand, or I might click and put food on the ground. So we have to teach our dogs that they can find food off of the ground. Because you could see, even though I set it on the ground, he was still looking for it in my hand. Here's another one that we'll set on the ground. I almost kind of have to point it out to the dog initially to help them find it. And I feel like already I'm clicking that clicker and his little ears are perking up. He knows the food is in my pocket, but I want to feed him away from my pocket because I don't want him to think that he'll ever get food directly from my pocket. There you go, buddy. Okay, and we're going to do this one more time where I'm just going to click and give Teddy a free treat. And that's called charging the clicker. We'll probably start most of these puppies' training sessions off that way, just because they're so teeny tiny and we want to give them a refresher real quick before we start that click equals food. So now a little variation on just charging the clicker. Another thing that we need to teach our puppies is how to follow a food lure. So there is a little bit of technique to that, which I'm going to demonstrate now. I'm still going to utilize the clicker, so I'm not going to feed Tucker this piece of food until I've clicked the clicker. But first I'm just going to start by showing Tucker that I have a piece of food in my hand. Then I'm going to just slowly move my hand so Tucker has to follow. And after a few steps, I'm going to click that clicker and feed him. Okay, so watch again. I'm going to show Tucker that I have a piece of food. I'm going to let him lick at it, nibble at it a little bit. I'm going to let him take a few steps forward, click that clicker, and then feed him. What a good boy. Now you'll notice how slowly I'm moving my food hand, okay? If I move my food hand like this, Tucker's not going to follow, he's just going to disengage. It's way too fast. I really want to keep the dog connected to me when I am luring behavior. So that's why I'm moving my hand that slow, because I want the dog to be connected to my food and to my hand the entire time. And if I move my food hand too quickly, I'm going to lose the dog, I'm going to lose their attention. You are such a good boy. We could also pair following the food lure with a little bit of the name game too. So I could just have him follow, say, Tucker, click, and then feed. Let's do that one more time. Oh, the fridge turned on. Do you hear that noise? Yeah. It's a different noise. Tucker. What a good boy. What a very good boy. Oh, I'm gonna go sniff my coffee again. Now, Teddy didn't really try this too much when I had him down here today, but you can see that Tucker's climbing up into my lap right now. Oh, he got down. But if he does that again, what I'm going to do is pair it with the word up and pick him up. I like to teach puppies, especially little dogs who may be picked up a lot in their lifetime, to expect that they're going to be picked up, because it is strange for dogs when they are just walking around living their lives and then suddenly they leave the ground. Some dogs seem to tolerate that just fine and never have an issue with it their entire lives. Other dogs you might start to, or puppies, you might see start to see that they don't really like it, and they will let us know that they don't like it. And the only way that dogs know how to, and that might be with a little bit of a vocalization or a little growl or something like that. So I like to teach puppies right off the bat that when I say the word up, that means they're going to leave the ground and I'm going to be picking them up. Adding a little bit of predictability to what you're about to do to the dog really helps them to be okay with it, because then it's not this surprising thing that just happens to them or just occurs that they might start to not like. We're going to take a little break here for a second. We're going to let Tucker explore a little bit, let him play a little bit. Yeah, he likes the little chicken toy. Your brother did the same thing with that chicken. Okay, so now that it's playtime, if Tucker tries to climb in my lap, I'm just going to set my criteria that playtime means you don't go in my lap, we're going to interact with this toy. When we're playing with our puppies, it's a very high arousal event for them. So if we only just keep playing and keep playing and keep playing, and we allow the dog to climb into our lap, it's almost like we're sort of inviting them to start getting mouthy or bitey with us. I really want to set criteria right off the bat that when it's playtime, you don't climb in my lap and we only get mouthy and bitey with the toys. So you can see that anytime Tucker tries to climb in my lap during play, I'm just going to gently put him back down onto the ground and get him re-engaged with that toy. And then if he wants to sit calmly next to me, chewing on the toy, okay, that's great. But I'm still not going to allow that to happen in my lap. You could set other criteria for play as well, and this is going to be a little bit of personal preference too. But at my house, puppies aren't bringing the toys up onto the couch either, because the couch is a place of rest, and I don't want the dogs to learn that they can, be in a state of arousal and potentially mouthing and biting when they're on a place of rest like the couch. So when it's playtime, play happens on the ground, play happens with toys, and it's not the time to climb into my lap or climb up onto rest spaces like couches. Of course, when the puppy is calm and it's snuggle time, absolutely let your puppy climb into your lap, snuggle with them, pet them all over, because that's a great way that we bond with our dogs. But during playtime, we're going to set some boundaries so that the puppy learns not to get mouthy and bitey with us. Just with their toys. Yes. Good boy. Okay. I gotta find my clicker again. So we're gonna expand on that follow a food lure just a little bit. And we're actually going to teach Tucker a new behavior right now. We're gonna teach him a hand target. But instead of holding the food in my hand like this, call this the pinchy fingers. See how I'm holding it like this, and this is often how we come in to feed our dogs. I'm going to be holding this piece of food in a flat palm, like so. So I'm still going to show Tucker that I have the food. And then I'm going to lure him to take a few steps with it. But I'm going to feed him from a flat palm instead of those pinchy fingers. So I'm going to do this maybe 3 or 4 times in a row with a piece of food in my hand. That must have been a big piece because he's chomping away. I'm not going to try to get another repetition out of the dog until I know they've finished the treat that I already gave them. So especially if you are working with something crunchy, like the dog's kibble or a treat that's crunchy, make sure they're finished before you try to ask them to perform the behavior again, because they're going to be too focused on finishing the food that they have. Right? So I'm going to show them that I have food, make my palm flat, have him follow, and I'm clicking when he eats the cookie. Right? So this is a hand target. I'm going to try it again, but now this time out of my other hand. So switching my food hand and my clicker hand. So after I've done that like 3 or 4 times, then I'm going to have no food in my hand, And when the puppy comes over and I feel their nose, I'm going to click, then reach for the treat and feed the dog. The only thing that I've made different about this behavior is that there's no food until after I've clicked now. So Tucker comes over, I feel his nose, I click, and then I'm going to reach for the food. Today it's in my pocket because I don't have my treat pouch. Normally it would be in a treat pouch, or you could even grab it directly from the bag. Good boy. Because Tucker just learned this for the first time today, I'm going to start with a bunch of reps with a food lure, then try to do a few repetitions without a food lure. Then I might throw a food lure back in, just to keep the response rate high. So I have food in my hand again, so this is with a food lure. Good boy. And once the dog is performing the behavior pretty fluidly, they're offering it a lot, we can start to name it. Touch. So I call hand target touch. Touch. Remember, I'm clicking when I feel his cute little wet nose on my hand. So Tucker is targeting his nose to my hand. That is the behavior. And that's what I'm clicking. Touch. What a smart boy. I'm going to do one more food lure hand target, then we're going to take a little break again. Uh-oh, are you interested in what's over there? I think we'll just take our break now. Yeah. What's that? Get it. Did you see that little sploot he did? That was adorable. Get your chicken. Yeah. There's a crazy man. Get it. Good boy. Oh, see how he's biting my sleeve? Just going to try and get him right back onto the toy. Good boy. What's this? That one speaks too, it does. So if I was playing with Tucker and he did something like that, like bite my sleeve, I'm just going to get him redirected back onto the toy. Or if he climbed into my lap and started, biting at my sweatshirt or whatever else, I'm going to gently set him back down onto the ground, and I'm going to get him right back onto a toy. If he can't be redirected, so usually I'll give puppies kind of like a 3 strikes and you're out rule. He keeps coming back at me to target his mouthing and biting on me instead of the toy. Then that's when I'm going to end the play session, so no more play. Puppy's going to go for a little mental break into their exercise pen or on the other side of a baby gate, so they're gated in a safe space in the house. And that's when I'm going to provide the puppy with some sort of pacifying toy. So usually that's something that they can sit and chew and gnaw on, that's safe to consume without supervision. And I will reserve treats and toys like that only for times when they're in their confinement area, when they need that little mental break. So there's a little consequence for the behavior. If you're going to bite and act crazy at me, you don't get to interact with me anymore, but I'm still going to fulfill that innate need and desire for the puppy to chew and to gnaw on something with an appropriate item. So things like raw bones or bully sticks or dental chews, Himalayan bones. Again, anything that is frozen Kong is great. Anything that the puppy can sit and chew and work on and that's safe to consume without supervision. So I'm never giving the dog like raw hides or something like that, because that really should, only happen under supervision if you are giving your dog something like that. And then that provides them with a little pacifying effect to help them lower their arousal level. You're fulfilling that innate need for them to chew and bite on something other than that thing being yourself. Yes, and you want to grab my sleeve. Here you go. Good puppy. All right, so let's see, what can we do next here? What do we do with your brother? Oh, we're going to do a little bit of the name game. So Tucker is getting a little excitable, a little crazy, so we're going to move back into a training session to bring that arousal level down to get him to think again. So I'm just going to pair Tucker's name with a click and a cookie. Tucker. So as soon, I'm going to say the puppy's name, and as soon as they reorient towards me, that's when I'm going to click and feed them. And there's lots of movement around upstairs, so the floors are a little creaky right now, so you might be distracted by that. But that's okay, we're going to work through it. Tucker! Good boy. Tucker! Nice! Do you hear people upstairs? Yeah. They're up there. Tucker! I play this name game with all puppies, or maybe new adult dogs who for some reason have a name change. Tucker! It's really important that we teach our dogs to respond to their name. If they can't respond to their name, then they're probably not going to respond to a formal recall. So this is a really important foundation game to be playing with your puppies. Oh, that was a loud squeak from upstairs, huh? Oh, it's okay. Yes, you're fine. Try it again. Tucker! Good boy. You can see how his response rate gets faster and faster to the sound of his name. Okay, we're going to do one more of these, and we're going to end with our little handling exercise. Tucker! Very good boy. Still got some treats in my pocket. And they're falling out. Okay, so for our handling exercise, for this very first day, I'm just going to show Tucker that I do have some snacks in my hand. And I'm going to pair clicks and cookies with handling different parts of his body. So I'm going to start with just picking up an ear, clicking and feeding, being very gentle about it, and not really doing too much. I'm just sort of picking it up. These handling exercises are essential for teaching our dogs how to be calm and cooperative at the vet's office or at the groomer, both of which these puppies are going to require a lifetime of care. So it's important that we start these things now. Again, I'm just lifting that other ear, clicking and feeding. I'm going to do the same thing with his tail. I'm kind of moving it back and forth, but I'm being fairly gentle about it. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of full body restraint. So I'm going to bring my hands underneath Tucker's chest and belly, almost like I'm about to pick him up. Oh, the fridge turned on. Yeah, do you hear that noise? It's okay. Lots of new noises down here. What is that? What is that? Yeah, good boy. It's perfectly normal for, like, if your dog hears something sudden or something very novel, for them to, you know, just like us, if something happens sort of suddenly, for us to be maybe startled by that initially. But you should see that your puppy can recover within about like 10 seconds or so, which Tucker totally is doing, and Teddy was doing as well. They're going to try another one of those full body restraints. So hand under belly, hand under chest, just applying a little bit of pressure. You know, I'm not like squeezing the dog, but almost just like maybe I'm about to pick them up. At some point, your dog, your puppy, may need to be restrained at the vet hospital or the groomer. So we want to get them comfortable with sort of being touched and restrained in that way, you know, right now. If they ever need like a procedure done or a blood draw or something like that, which they totally will at some point in their life, just like us. Maybe let's try one more of those full body restraints, and then we'll be done with this session. Good boy. Here you go. All right. And then we will be back tomorrow for session number 2. Yeah.